Within the next few minutes, I'm going to convince you to set up a profile on LinkedIn. And even if you already have one, you need to build it out and start posting on it. I'm Leah Leverich, a class of 2022 high school graduate, entering the workforce right after graduation. I am working as the multimedia and video production manager for a company called Big Brand Ventures. And along with that, I have my own brand called Decision Day, which you are on right now, helping high schoolers navigate life after graduation. I love LinkedIn, and I think you should too.
The Decision Day podcast is brought to you by the Rise and Record event in Nashville, Tennessee. Rise up and share your story through video. Visit riseandrecord.com for more.
When we start to talk about the digital footprint of Gen Z and young adults entering the workforce, LinkedIn is the place to be, comparatively speaking to like TikTok or Instagram, of course. I know if you're young and you're listening to this, you probably have a TikTok, you probably have an Instagram. I was actually surprised when I asked my sister, she's a sophomore in high school, I was like, are your friends on Instagram anymore? Like, why don't you care as much about your Instagram as I care about mine? And so I know that a lot of the younger high schoolers are making TikTok their main platform, but you also have to consider, while it's super fun to be on it, and obviously I'm not telling you to get off of it, but if you want to get a job and as you start to get older, it's definitely going to be really weird if your employer does a little background check on you and all they can find is your TikTok. And then when they click on your TikTok, if all they see are thirst traps and, videos of you looking good, it might not be the best representation of you and your work ethic. And I don't know how well your chances would be to get the job that you were going for. So that's really where LinkedIn comes in. If you start to build this out, and you can still have TikTok and Instagram and all of that, maybe make it private if you want to post like party videos and all of that, just so you're not sharing that with your employers so publicly. But if you set up a LinkedIn, it could be like the one-stop shop for everything that you've ever done in life, anything that you ever would want a future employer to know about you. It's really just where you get to be, how do I say it? Kind of like a goody-goody, like a star student, but like you control all the accolades that you share. And if you're thinking like, yeah, LinkedIn, I'm young, I don't have certificates, I don't have awards, or a lot of the biggest misconception about LinkedIn is that I don't need a job right now, like I'm not looking to get hired. Literally, it does not matter. Like I am also not looking for a job right now, but I've gotten so many opportunities to go to events and to speak to classes literally about this topic just from being on LinkedIn and just from having it set up. And even if you get job opportunities just from having an established LinkedIn, no one said that you had to commit to it. It's kind of cool to have the opportunities coming in, even if you turn them down. So really I just don't see a negative to having a LinkedIn set up. And to this point as well, a lot of your teachers and counselors and more structured school systems, I was talking to, I think my counselor or some other teacher, and they were literally saying we cannot recommend students to get on LinkedIn or to walk them through how to set up their LinkedIn because there's something with the government and the school system where it's taking information from minors. So if you're wondering like, well, why aren't my teachers telling me to get on LinkedIn and why aren't they helping me set it up? It might be because they literally can't. But guess what? I can advise you to get on LinkedIn because I just think it's valuable to put the good stuff out there. I'm going to be your kind of tour guide in walking through how to set up a LinkedIn and how to make it look credible and professional. Think of this as like we're setting up a fun dating profile, but for your jobs, for your career, think of it like we're getting you on another Instagram. It's just a little bit more elevated, okay? So it shouldn't be boring. It should be actually quite fun. So when you download LinkedIn in the App Store, you're going to see your homepage, and it's probably going to be blank because you're not connected with anyone yet. The biggest thing that I see young adults who want to connect with me on LinkedIn is, and I didn't know this at first when I started, when you go to look someone up, so you could literally use me as an example. If you look up Leah Leverich, it's going to say either follow or connect. And it's just going to be these little like blue circles, okay? It'll say follow or connect with. Now, if it doesn't say connect, you have to click the three dots and press send connection request or send connection, whatever it is. I can't see it because I'm on my own profile, but you have to make the connection because if you just follow me, let's say, I won't see right away unless I go digging for it. I won't see that you followed me and it's not as strong as a connection. So on LinkedIn, you have followers and connections. the maximum amount of connections that'll be displayed on your profile is 500. So it'll say either a generic number 1 through 500 or 500 plus. Obviously the 500 plus looks pretty cool. I just recently hit that and it was like, oh my God, I know 500 people. I didn't think I did. So when you connect with someone, it's more of a formal, like, I send you the connection request and you approve it. So we are connected, versus a follow is just like, you're following my page, but I might not even know about it and I might not even be following you back. So definitely make sure when you go to reach out to people on LinkedIn, make the connection. You can also follow them, but make sure you make the connection, because that's the valuable part. The connection gives you the opportunity to message with other users on LinkedIn. Okay, the next thing you're gonna see on the bottom where it says home, video, my network, notifications, and jobs. If you click on your profile, your little profile image in the top, and then your name, you're gonna see your own profile page. And this is where you can literally have the time of your life, spend hours building this out. I've done this for myself. I've done this for my younger sister. I've walked through it with my aunt who was transitioning with her job. And I've also walked through it with my mom, who's been at the same job for 25 years. But just to put all the information in there and update it regularly, it makes such a difference. I can't even explain it. It just makes you look so much more credible. So many adults looking to collaborate with people in the workplace, or especially hire, they look at your LinkedIn. And so if you have your basic bio filled out, maybe a profile image, and the rest is blank, it's like, okay, you didn't put in the effort and we don't know that much about you. So if you can fill out as much as humanly possible, the more the better. So back to actually filling out your profile, you're gonna wanna add your name, first and last, whatever you go by, and then fill out your job title. So mine right now says Decision Day podcast host and multimedia and video production manager. So when people come to my page on my profile, or if they see me commenting on someone else's content, they're going to see Leah Leverich and then my title. So whatever you want to be known for, that's what your title is going to be. So let's say you're a sophomore, you could literally put sophomore at Lakeshore High School because you don't have a current job. Maybe you put sophomore at Lakeshore High School and manager at Target, whatever it is. You could also put aspiring elementary school teacher. It could be anything, but it's really, what do you want to be known for? As professional as you can make it, the better. And then you could put your location if you want, just in terms of job opportunities. LinkedIn will help connect you with other people in your area. You could put your website if you have one, any relevant links. Maybe you have a portfolio if you're an art student. Put that link in there, because when people first visit your profile, they're going to see your name, your title, and your link. And then they're going to see the amount of followers that you have and the amount of connections that you have. So definitely build up those connections. You can literally start by going through who you went to high school with, your high school teachers. It might feel a little weird if you're still in high school. Like, I connected with all my teachers because I'm out of high school, so I don't really have to see them anymore. Definitely get those connections up, because that just shows how active you are on the app and how many people you know. Because when you connect with somebody, you want to come from a place of value. So let's say that I connected with someone named Ben. I want him to see, like, Leah's got 500 connections. If I need something, she would probably be able to help me. And that's how you form a collaboration. That's how you form a partnership. That's how you add someone into your network. So building up the connections definitely adds credibility. Okay, as you continue to scroll down, you're gonna see, if you're on your own profile, you will see open to, and that's where you can add a little text around your profile picture that says open to work, or you're hiring. Those are two resources that LinkedIn offers you, so that everyone that you follow or that follows you can see your current status. I don't have any set right now because I'm not looking for either, but that is definitely a great tool to utilize if you are looking for work. If you fill out your title and then later your skills and all of that we're about to get into, that'll really show people who are hiring, like, oh, that person's open to work. I want them, or I want to talk to them further. If you click on the button that says Add Section, it's right next to the Open To, and it's right below the followers and the connections. The Add section is where you start filling out all your information. So the core sections that you can add to your profile are education, position, services, career, skills. The recommended ones are things like licenses and certifications, projects, courses, recommendations, and testimonials. And then additional ones, volunteer experience, publications, honors and awards, test scores, languages. Literally everything productive that you've ever done, you should put on your LinkedIn profile. You're gonna see analytics as you begin to scroll down, and the first thing that you're probably gonna see is the About section. You can go to my LinkedIn if you want a little example, if you want some inspiration. I definitely did that as well when I was setting up my LinkedIn. I just looked up different young entrepreneurs that I wanted to emulate, just see what everyone else is writing in their bio and then tweak it. I know a lot of people probably use ChatGPT and AI writing tools for their bio. If you want to summarize all of your information in a more professional way of writing it, I just wrote mine out. I put my age because I feel like the younger you are and the more established you are, the cooler it looks. It's more attention grabbing. I shared that I'm the host of the Decision Day podcast. That's what I want people to know about me. That's my brand right when they come to my profile. I also put my full-time job. I put some experience that I have. I honestly should update this because it's constantly changing. Actually, hold me accountable and go to my profile, see if I did update this About section because I need to, and then DM me if I didn't. I might need a little reminder. Next, you're gonna see the featured section, and you might not see that if you haven't posted yet, but if you're looking through mine as an example, I featured a few things. So that's featured basically means like what post do I want people to see first? What do I want to highlight at the top of my profile? If you're familiar with TikTok and Instagram, it's like, what do you want to pin to your profile? So pinning on Instagram and TikTok is which posts go to the top and they stay at the top. So it's most likely that somebody visiting your profile will click on that first. Featured is the same thing, just for LinkedIn. So on my featured section right now, I have the LinkedIn newsletter. Oh my gosh, I could do a whole other episode about LinkedIn newsletter. That's basically just posting articles to LinkedIn for your followers. I have a post that is my podcast trailer, so I want people to watch that first. If they don't know anything about Decision Day, I want them to check that out because that goes through my entire story. A lot of people, especially in the entrepreneurial space, and if you're a motivational speaker, they call it a sizzle reel. So a sizzle reel is basically just a short video, less than 5 minutes, less than 3 minutes, and it gives your whole story, your accolades, your achievements, your accomplishments. It sums it all up into one giant video. If you don't have the content yet, you definitely don't need to, but that's something to consider if you want to really elevate your brand, is having an editor or yourself edit a sizzle reel. So that's what I did. That's what I have pinned at the top of mine. I've also got just my favorite photo working as a brand manager. That's what I put at the top so people understand what I do for work. And then I also pinned a video that did really well. Okay, as you continue to scroll down, that's where you'll see activity. Those are the posts that you make, whether it's a video, a photo, a newsletter. But when we really get into the nitty-gritty of it, the experience is probably the most valuable part. It's probably my favorite part. That's where you put all of your past job experience. If you are a high school student or if you're young and you haven't had a job yet, that's totally fine. If you have any volunteer experience, put that in there. But as you do start to get a job, start to add that experience. If you have started a business or any sort of endeavor where you ran it and you made money, maybe it was a fundraiser, you can put all of that in there. You really have to think back of like, what have I done and what do I want people to know that I've done? You'll probably already be familiar with the things that you want to put on your LinkedIn if you've started to apply for colleges or for different paths like that that require an application where they will ask you what your previous work experience has been or volunteer experience, extracurriculars. So right now, I have the most recent, which is Big Brand Ventures. That's the company that I work for. Decision Day is on here. That's my experience. I have a few local businesses that I've done content for and video editing for. And then at the very bottom, I put founder of Bath Bombs for Charity. That was a business that I started in 7th grade for National Honor Society. You might be thinking like, okay, but that's not related to what I want to do now. Like making bath bombs isn't related to the work I'm currently doing now with video editing and podcasting, but it's still part of my story and still an experience that I have. And so these employers just want to see that you have done work and that you are doing work. You want to tag the business or the company that you've worked for. That helps you connect with people who have also worked with that company. It kind of just branches off like crazy once you go down that rabbit hole. And you can also add descriptions and photos. Really, any section that it gives you to fill out information, fill it out to the best of your ability. Next, we have education. If you're currently still in high school, put that in there. I put my high school from the 4 years that I was there. And then I also took it a step further, which is, this isn't something that I thought of initially, but I actually had a friend who I was convincing her to set up her LinkedIn when we just got coffee and we were talking. And she filled out her high school, and then she put her GPA, her extracurricular activities, the clubs that she was in. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even do that. Mine just says 4 years of high school. So I went back in and I filled out sports that I played, my GPA, classes that I took. If you took any AP classes, you can put National Honor Society, honor roll. As you continue to scroll down, there's going to be volunteering as well. Definitely fill out volunteering. Nobody ever has said, you volunteered? Like, it always looks good, and it obviously feels good too. So any volunteer experience, basically anything that you did for your community or worked with people and you didn't get paid. To go down even further, there's the skills section that you can add. Skills literally could be endless. A few of mine that I've put is social media marketing, video production, graphic design. You could put different softwares. I know how to edit in Adobe Premiere Pro, so I recently added that to mine. When somebody comes to your page and they're like, oh, I think I want to hire Leah, and they see that I know how to edit in Adobe, that might be more enticing to them if they want to work with me because they know that I already have that skill. You could put things like networking, interviewing I got from doing the podcast now for a few years, content strategy, entrepreneurship, leadership, organization skills. There's so many different things, communication, charity work, anything that you can think of. Right now I have 22 skills on my profile. I should honestly probably have more. You can put a bunch on there. It's really endless. Anything that you can say that you are skilled at. Another section on LinkedIn is publications. I've recently gone on a few radio shows, been featured in a few articles, and that's where you'd put things like that. So let's say you're an athlete, maybe you play soccer and your team went to sectionals and it was featured in the news. Go ahead and put that in there. Honors and awards is pretty self-explanatory, but it's probably one of the most powerful aspects of your LinkedIn profile because who's not going to look at an award and go, ooh, that person's legit, you know? I feel like, honestly, if you ever got any recognition in school for like Student of the Month or Honor Roll, especially if you don't have a lot of work experience, that section could really support the rest of your profile because you're younger and you're entering the workforce. If you don't have that experience, rely on the honors and the awards. You can really go through the enhance your profile section. LinkedIn's going to recommend that you fill out all of these things anyway. Hopefully that was just a helpful walkthrough about the types of things that you can include in your profile. Go to other people's for inspiration. If you know that you want to be a professional violin player, go to other professional violin players' LinkedIn accounts and see what they're doing. Some of the things that you should be posting on LinkedIn could be if you had a recent event that relates to some of the extracurricular work that you're doing. Maybe you got a job promotion. People love celebrating job promotions. Some of the recent things that I've shared, I was just at a work trip and I got some cool photos back from it, so I posted that and I kind of just shared grateful to be part of this team at this work trip. I'm learning so much. I also sometimes will just throw videos on my LinkedIn in terms of thoughts about life after high school. Those ones always seem to perform really well because they're purposeful and they're scroll stopping in a way. If somebody sees like, I didn't go to college, they might be like, whoa, why? And then they might want to hear what I have to say, interact with it in some way. And then anytime that I'm at any sort of business event, I'll normally take a video or photo just to post because you can tag people in the caption, just like mentioning people on Instagram. You can tag them in your caption and then they'll get that. They'll repost it to their feed and it'll share to their network. So that's how you really start to grow your account is, for example, this one where I went to a networking night. I'm in a picture with 3 other women and I tagged them in my post and they commented and then they also share it to their network. So I got a ton of connections from that, especially within people who were also at that networking event who started to connect with me. And then it just branches off from there. You get messages and you see where you can help each other and how you can work together. So before I get into the most important aspect of LinkedIn, I just want to remind you that if your profile has a purpose, you're more likely to be creative, you're more likely to feel confident when you're posting, and you're probably more likely to succeed on LinkedIn in terms of building your network and getting connections. Because if you're just a student posting just to post and it's kind of superficial, it doesn't really have a point to it, it just might be harder to get that traction and to get people who genuinely want to work with you. So if you narrow down first, what problem are you solving? Even if you don't know what your ideal career is, you don't have to know all of that as long as you know what problem you want to solve. So thinking about my younger sister, as I've been coaching her on this, she wants to be a marine biologist right now. And so her passion would be conserving the ocean and eco-friendly related endeavors. So she might follow people who play into that. Maybe she posts things about ocean conservation and marine life, any sort of information that pushes that narrative because it aligns with her brand. Personally, for Decision Day, if there's ever anything education related, I'll push that. And I just know every time that I record a video like this or any time that I do a post on LinkedIn, it always has to tie back to being a young adult entering the workforce and helping students make a graduation decision with confidence. So all of my posts have to go back to that. And a lot of the times I'll think of, in terms of what to post, it'll be like, would I feel comfortable with my grandpa seeing this video? Or would I feel comfortable with my boss looking at this photo? That's kind of how I narrow it down, of like even the wording in the caption. What do I want them to see and what would I be comfortable with them seeing? And also, how does that reflect on my own brand? So once you have your purpose and you know why you have your LinkedIn and why you're posting and what problem you want to solve or what change you want to make in the world, that's when you can start to reach out to people. And the messaging section, I cannot tell you how many opportunities that I've gotten from LinkedIn. I've been asked to speak at a local college. I recently was featured in a magazine because of LinkedIn. I was just asked to talk to a class about LinkedIn because mine has been built up. I don't know how else to like prove it to you. You just have to start reaching out to people and interacting with posts. If you literally, like I've been telling my sister, if you just look up marine biology and you find a marine biologist and you message them, coming from a place of curiosity, not like you want something from them, you're just curious. You could say, hi, let's say their name is Lily. So any Lilies listening, if I just piqued your interest, you could say, hi Lily, I noticed that you are a marine biologist. I'm a 10th grade student interested in marine biology. Is there any advice that you would be willing to share that might be able to help me figure out if this career is right for me? I would also love to hear how you got to the current career that you're in today. Any sort of questions that you have, like what's your favorite part of your job? What did it take to get to your career? What would you recommend aspiring marine biologists to do? What's something you wish you did differently? Literally, there's so many questions that I'm just coming up with off the top of my head. You should be curious about a job opportunity that you want to go for. And if you ask that person, just genuinely being curious, you don't want to pick their brain. That's a common phrase that I know a lot of people are hit or miss on. You're just reaching out of curiosity. The amount of times that I've gotten rejected from doing something like that, zero. Like, adults are so willing to help you, especially if you're younger. Everyone is so open-minded on LinkedIn, and really everyone just comes from a place of wanting to help each other. So if you are young and reaching out to someone, I doubt that you're going to get a no. You could even follow it up by saying, would you mind getting on a call to talk further with me? So many people are open to scheduling in 15-minute calls or 30-minute calls, and you just ask questions, and that'll help you narrow down all of your options, and your path will become so much more clear. So with all of that being said, I just talked about LinkedIn for 30 minutes. Why aren't they paying me? I don't know. I guess they're kind of indirectly paying me because opportunities come from it, just from being on their app. So fine, I'll let it slide. But LinkedIn, if you're listening, hello, brand ambassador. I am happy to do it because I tell every student that I come across, get on LinkedIn and build it up. It's very easy, it's very simple, and it feels good when you look back, especially on the days that you doubt yourself, like, oh, am I making any progress? Like, comparing yourself to others, am I good enough? All of that. Whenever you have that imposter syndrome, literally just scroll through your LinkedIn and go, oh, look at all the cool things that I've done. Look at the awards that I've gotten. Look at the volunteer hours that I've put in and the things that I've accomplished. And it just reminds you like, okay, I have a purpose, I'm doing good, I'm on the right track. I'm more than happy to be your first connection. If you connect with me, I will connect right back. I hope this kind of shifted your mindset on how to look at LinkedIn. It might not be the most fun topic when you compare it to like a TikTok or an Instagram, But just know that it will really be setting your future self up for success. And I mean, that's kind of what we all want as we graduate high school and enter the working world anyway. So I hope that was really helpful. If there's any other topics that you want to hear about in terms of workforce and career exploration, you can reach out to decisiondaypodcast@gmail.com. And you can follow Decision Day on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere at Decision Day Podcast. And as always, I thank you so much for listening. I can't wait to share a new perspective with you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Decision Day Podcast. If you know a student in high school, ask them to listen or share an episode with them. And as always, we love hearing from you. Share your stories with us on social, Decision Day Podcast. Until next week. Decision Day Podcast is sponsored by the Rise and Record event, Nashville, Tennessee. RiseandRecord.com for more info.